My name is Rashel Parker, and I never imagined a single phone call could shatter everything I'd built. At 38, raising my daughter alone, I prided myself on protecting Emma's future. Then Ashley, my late husband's sister, called, her voice dripping with casual cruelty. "It's just money," she said. I froze, staring at the banking app. $887,000, my daughter's college fund gone. Every careful plan, every sacrifice, vanished. My hands shook, my mind raced. How could family betray you so utterly? I had to act fast because someone was about to pay for this mistake, and it wouldn't be me. "It's just money and family shares." Ashley's voice dripped with condescension over the phone, as if she were discussing a trifle rather than the future of my daughter. "You can always save more. Emma's only 12. You've got plenty of time." I froze in the kitchen, staring at the glaring red numbers on my banking app. The college fund I had been carefully building for Emma since the day she was born, nearly $887,000, was completely gone. My hands shook, but my voice tried to stay steady. My name is Rashel Parker, and at 38, I never imagined I would be betrayed like this by my own family. I had spent years being the responsible one, raising my daughter alone after Mark's death 5 years ago, working as a pediatric nurse to ensure Emma's life remained as normal and bright as possible. Ashley, Mark's sister, had always been present, but rarely in ways that helped. "Ashley," I said, keeping my voice even despite the surge of anger and disbelief. "That money was for Emma's education. How did you even access it?" She laughed, the sound grinding in my ears. "Oh please, Mark made me a co-signer when Emma was born. You never bothered to change it after he died." Her words hit like a sucker punch. In the chaos of grief after Mark's accident, I had been focused on holding Emma and myself together, never thinking about legal details. Now, that oversight had cost my daughter her future. "The pool," she continued as if this were a casual topic, "wasn't just a pool, it was a safety hazard." "Rashel, what was I supposed to do?" she said lightly. "Let the kids swim in that mess. Family helps family. You should understand that." My jaw tightened. Emma was upstairs working on her science project, her dreams of becoming a doctor burning brighter every day. And here was Ashley justifying stealing from her niece to fix a pool. "How much did the repairs cost?" I asked, my voice calm even though my hands were trembling. "Oh, about $30,000, she said breezily. "I took a little extra for landscaping too. The yard was looking shabby, and property values matter in this neighborhood." I blinked, trying not to gag. "The rest of the money, $557,000, gone to landscaping." My stomach churned, but I forced my voice to stay steady. "And when were you planning to tell me about this?" I asked. Ashley waved it off. "Oh, you know how busy life gets. I figured you'd understand. You're always talking about how families should support each other. Like when you asked me to babysit Emma last month." I gripped the phone tighter, anger flaring. Babysitting for one night wasn't stealing a college fund. "You're right, Ashley," I said through clenched teeth, forcing calm into my tone. "Families should support each other. Thanks for letting me know." The silence on her end told me she wasn't expecting that response. "Well, good. I'm glad we're on the same page," she finally said. After hanging up, I sat at the kitchen table, pulling up years of banking records. Years of navigating hospital bureaucracy had taught me the importance of documentation. I downloaded every statement showing my careful deposits into Emma's fund and began composing an email to James Turner, Mark's college friend and a top financial lawyer in the city. "Mom," Emma's voice startled me. She stood in the doorway, ponytails swinging like Mark's had when he was her age. "Is everything okay? I heard you on the phone." I forced a smile. "It's fine, sweetheart. Just grown-up stuff. How's the science project coming?" "Almost done," she said brightly. "I'm writing about genetic markers and cancer." Dad's oncology journals really helped. Pride swelled in my chest. I wouldn't let Ashley's greed derail Emma's dreams. Later that night, after Emma was asleep, I called Margaret, my mother-in-law. Her usual warmth turned sharp as I explained what had happened. "What did she do?" Margaret exclaimed. "Rashel, I'm so sorry. I knew Ashley was struggling financially, but I never imagined she'd stoop this low." "Struggling?" I pressed, sensing there was more Margaret's side. "She's been day trading trying to make quick money." I warned her, but she doesn't listen. "Last I heard, she'd lost a lot." Everything clicked. The frantic pool repairs, the extravagant landscaping. Ashley hadn't been impulsive. She had been desperate, clinging to appearances. What are you going to do? Margaret asked softly. Protect Emma, I said firmly. Mark would have wanted that. As I sorted through old documents, I stumbled upon a letter Mark had written weeks before his death. In it, he expressed concern over Ashley's growing financial instability and intended to remove her as a co-signer on Emma's fund. He never got the chance. I forwarded the letter to James, adding it to the growing case file. I transferred every penny from my savings meant for a future home into a new secure account for Emma's education. A house could wait. Her future couldn't. Ashley's text arrived as I was wrapping up. The kids love the pool. You and Emma should come over this weekend to try it out. See, everyone benefits. I didn't respond. Instead, I filed a formal complaint with the state banking authority. Ashley thought she could get away with this, but she was about to learn a hard truth. Real family protects each other, and betrayal has consequences. As I worked late into the night gathering evidence, I could almost feel Mark's steady presence beside me. For Emma, I would fight with everything I had. The next morning, an email from James turned my coffee sour. Ashley hadn't just drained Emma's college fund. She had tried to access Mark's life insurance policy months ago. The insurance company had denied her request, but the attempt was well documented. This establishes a clear pattern, James wrote. We can use this to show premeditated financial exploitation. I've drafted a cease and desist letter, but we should move quickly. The longer we wait, the harder it may be to recover the funds. I was drafting a reply when the doorbell rang. Standing there, dressed in designer sunglasses and a strained smile, was Ashley Rashel. I thought I'd stop by to discuss the pool in person. Emma should really see the finished project. Her contribution made all the difference, she said, her tone casual, as if this were about a bake sale, not stolen money. Come in, Ashley, I said, masking my irritation. Emma's at her study group so we can talk privately. She strolled into the living room, dropping her expensive handbag on the couch as though she owned the place. She chirped, pulling out her phone. The waterfall feature turned out amazing. It really elevates the neighborhood. I sat across from her, watching her fidget with her wedding ring, a nervous habit I recognized. Well, actually, I said evenly, I'd like to talk about the life insurance policy. Her face drained of color. What about it? The insurance company contacted me this morning, I said. They mentioned your inquiry about Mark's policy. Odd timing, don't you think? Especially after what happened with Emma's college fund. Ashley faltered, her polished tone slipping. That was just a misunderstanding. I was helping Mom organize some family paperwork. You know how she gets confused. Margaret doesn't seem confused to me, I replied. In fact, she seemed very clear when she told me about your day trading losses. Her expression hardened. She had no right to tell you that. It's none of your business. It became my business, I said, voice sharp. When you stole from my daughter to cover your gambling debts. Day trading isn't gambling. Ashley snapped, standing abruptly. And I didn't steal anything Mark would have wanted to help me. Hellways helped family. I thought of Mark, how hard he worked to build Emma college fund, determined to give her opportunities. Had Mark wanted to protect his daughter. I said, pulling out a letter I found among his things. In fact, he was planning to remove you. ASCO signer before the accident. He knew heckled and trust you with Emma's future. Ashley's hands trembled as she snuffed, her face pale as she read. This doesn't mean anything. She muted head. And actually make the changes. I had every legal right to access that account. Waiving access doesn't make it right. I saved my con cracking into control, or you didn't just steal from me or Emma, you betrayed your own brother. Stressed. Oh, stop being so dramatic, Chess scoffed, but her voice wavered. It's just money, I'll pay it back eventually. With what I asked, my tone cutting. Your fail trades, or will you steal from someone else? Her face flushed. You're just jealous because I'm trying to create something better for my family. That pool adds value to our home. It's an investment. An investment you funded with your niece's future. I shot back. Well, I've made an investment too. I hired James Turner to handle this legally. She froze at the mention of Mark's law. Or James, you involve James. I did. This isn't going away, Ashley. Either you return the money voluntarily or we'll let Fix decide. It's your choice. As Ashella grabbed her bag, her composure crumbling, Jury making a huge mistake. She spa, think about what this will do to Fee. I am thinking about family. I stayed firmly, specifically my daughter's future, after she stormed out my fun bust weaver. Flood of texts. Ashley had already started spinning her narrative, portraying herself as the victim of my so-called vendetta. but I was dome playing nice. I forwarded James's email to Margaret along with the documentation off Ashley's attempted fraud. The Fooly group chat exploded within the hour. Or how could you do this to Emma? Margaret smidge cut through the noise. Your own brother trusted you to protect his daughter, not steal from her. Ashley's responses grew increasingly frantic. It wasn't stealing, I was going to pay it back. Rachel's blowing this out off proportion. I muted the chat and called Dima's study group mom to check in. Emma's fine, engrossed in a discussion of buccellular biology. Like her father, Chef found peace in understanding how things worked and how to fix them when they broke. Some things, though, couldn't be fixed. Trust once shattered was far harder to repair than any. Pool ladies called with more news. I filed the work, he said, but there's something else. You were right. Most of the money didn't even go to the pool. It went into her day trading accounts. The revelation tightened the knot in my chest. What area options we could pursue? Criminal charges, James said. This is fraud and theft. Or we could handle it civil, but take longer to recover the money. He thought of Emma and her father's compassionate heart. Letting start civilage of her one chance to make this right before we escalate. More generous than deserves, James remarked. I'll get everything drafted that evening. Al looked up from her homework as we added in. Her mom, is something wrong with Ashley? Your phone kept buzzing. I reached across the table and squeezed her handsome. At times adults make big mistakes, I said, but I promise I'm handling it. She nodded, wise beyond on her years. Dad always said, we have to hold people accountably, and when it's hard, especially family. Looking at Harry felt a renewed sense of purpose. Ashley had exploited our grief, trust, and family ties. But she was about to learn that some bonds once broken only strengthened resolve to protect what truly matters. 2 weeks after filing the civil suit, Ashley's web of deceit unraveled in ways none of us had anticipated. The poll company called me directly, puzzled by $330, a repair figure cited in the gold documents. Mrs. Parker, the owner, explained, only billed $88,000 for basic repairs and maintenance, nothing near what spying claimed. We can provide then voices if you need them. Those invoices become the final nail in the coffin of Ashley's lies. James compiled everything: the bank transfers, the pool company sexual bills, and the records showing that Ashley had funneled nearly all of college fund into high-risk day trading accounts, which now sat nearly empty. During mediation, when confronted with the overwhelming evidence, Ashley finally broke down. I thought I could double the money, she sobbed, mascaras staking down her face. The form said it was guaranteed returns. I was going top it all back with interest. Emma would have had even more for college. Margaret, sitting beside me, shook her head in disgust. Your brother worked himself tough bone for years to save that money, and he gambled it away in weeks. The mediator laid up the terms. Ashley could agree to a repayment plan with strict of her sight and liens on her property, or face criminal charges for fraud. But I didn't have the money, Ashley protested, her voice barely a whisper. The market crashed. It's all gone. Then sell the house, Margaret said coldly. The one you're so proud of, with its pool and landscaping down seas. Get a job, do whatever it takes. But you will make this right under the final agreement. Ashley and her husband had to sell their house using the equity to pay most of Emma's fund. The remaining bullins would be deducted from her wage. Son, she found employment. She was also required to attend gambling addiction counseling. It's more than she deserves, Margaret told me afterward. But Mark would have wanted us to give her a to fix her mistakes. Even now, the Ashley moved out of her house. Emma and I drove past the 4 SA signs, students, sharp contrast to the pristine pool that had set this nightmare in motion. Emma asked softly, do you think Inesee will ever realize what she did? Thought about family trust and the lessons Mark had instilled in us. Some in mess will have to lose everything to appreciate what they've had, I said, but right now let's focus on your Sturk future. That afternoon, we drove the bank where I opened a new college fund for Emma, this time under my Sula control. As I transfer my savings, the deposit I planned for our dream house. Emma looked up at me, alarmed. Mom, you didn't have to give up your dream house for me. I hugged her tightly, her hair still smelling faintly of the shampoo she used since she was little. Sweetheart, you are my dream. The house can wait. 6 months later, Emma stood in stage at the state science fair, chapting first place for her research in genetic markers. As she smiled at that crowd, I noticed a familiar figure in the back of the auditorium. Ashley Schellinger, quietly watching Emma with a mixture of pride and regret before slipping away unnoticed. That evening, a letter arrived from Ashley Rayl and Emma. I can never undo the harm I cause. I want you to know I'm working on becoming someone worthy of being killed family again. Counseling is helping Mo understand why I made the choices I did. Mark would be so proud of Emma and social of me. I hope one day you can forgive me, but I understand if you can, Tashley. I showed the letter to Emma, letting her decide how to respond. After a thoughtful pause, she said something fit. Reminded me so much of Mark. It took me breath away. Everyone deserves a chance, Mom, she said, but maybe not a second chance at handling money. Yell, holding her close, knowing that whatever the future held, we had emerged stronger. Emma had inherited her father's best qualities, his wisdom, his compassion, and his unshakable sense of right. And the college fund is slowly buying Gerbil, and while Ashley still has a long road ahead in earning back our rust, I've learned what truly matters sits not the money in our accounts but values we carry in our hearts and the determination to protect what truly counts. She stole her daughter's future. Now one mother will stop at nothing to reclaim it. Discover the shocking truth and the fight for justice. Read the full story.